Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dive into one of your body's most critical, non-stop processes, the urea cycle. You might not have heard of it, but trust me, it's the unsung hero that's keeping you safe from a toxin you're making every single second.
So let's just jump right in. Think about this. Every single time you eat protein, doesn't matter if it's a burger or a bowl of lentils, your body gets to work breaking it down. But that process, well, it creates some pretty dangerous leftovers. So the big question is, how on earth does your body handle this constant silent threat without you even noticing?
And that really brings us to the heart of the issue, the ammonia problem. It's this silent but potentially lethal challenge that your body has to solve day in and day out.
You know, it's a classic double-edged sword, right? On one hand, we absolutely cannot live without protein. It builds pretty much everything in our bodies. But on the other hand, the very act of using it generates ammonia. And ammonia is seriously bad news for our brains.
See, when the body's disposal system gets overwhelmed for any reason, ammonia levels in the blood can just skyrocket. This condition is called hyperammonemia, and it is a true medical emergency. All that ammonia floating around is toxic to the brain, and it can lead to swelling, causing everything from confusion and exhaustion to seizures and even a coma.
So, how does your body stop this catastrophe from happening all the time? Well, it has this incredibly elegant solution. A biochemical pathway that acts like a superhero detox system, and its headquarters are located right inside your liver.
And here it is, the whole shebang. This is the biochemical map of the urea cycle. Now, I know it looks super complex, right? But check this out. See how it starts inside the mitochondria, the cell's power plants, and then moves out into the main part of the cell? It's a two-part operation. But let's not get lost in the weeds. Let's zoom out and just focus on its main mission, neutralizing that toxic ammonia.
Okay, let's think of this like a factory assembly line. Step 1, a molecule of ammonia gets captured and packaged into something called carbamoyl phosphate. Step 2, this package gets put on a carrier molecule called ornithine to make citrulline. It's like putting a product on the conveyor belt. The next couple of steps just tweak that package a bit, turning it into argininosuccinate and then arginine. And finally, the last step, step 5, the arginine split open. This releases the final safe product, urea, and, this is the really cool part, it recreates that original carrier, ornithine, so the whole loop can start right over again. It's a perfect self-sustaining system. But how is this whole factory controlled? I mean, you need a manager, right? Well, in the urea cycle, that manager is an enzyme called CPS1. It controls that very first step we talked about. It's basically the master switch for the whole operation, speeding up the line when there's a lot of ammonia to clear out and slowing it down when things are quiet. This single point of control is what makes the whole system so incredibly efficient.
And really, this is what it all boils down to. This is the entire point of this incredible biochemical machinery. It takes a substance toxic enough to literally shut down your brain, and it converts it into urea, a totally stable, harmless compound that just dissolves in water and gets flushed out by your kidneys. Problem solved.
But what happens if one of the workers on this assembly line, one of the key enzymes, is missing or just not working right? Well, this is where we run into the devastating impact of genetic conditions known as urea cycle disorders, or UCDs for short.
When the cycle breaks down, that ammonia builds right back up, and the symptoms can be really severe and incredibly varied. In a sudden crisis, a person might become lethargic, have seizures, or even fall into a coma. But over the long term, people with UCDs might struggle with learning disabilities, they might develop a strong dislike for protein-rich foods, and can even have psychiatric symptoms like hyperactivity or major behavioral changes.
Figuring out exactly what's wrong is super complex, because a breakdown at any step can cause the whole system to fail. So doctors basically have to become biochemical detectives. This chart shows how they do it. By measuring the levels of different molecules in the blood, they can follow the clues and pinpoint exactly where that biochemical traffic jam is happening and which enzyme isn't doing its job.
So, knowing the problem is one thing, but how do we actually fight back against it? In our final section, let's look at the amazing strategies medicine uses to manage these really serious disorders.
It really comes down to a four-part strategy. First, and this is a big one, a super strict low-protein diet to just make less ammonia in the first place. Second, patients take special drugs called nitrogen scavengers that basically create a new escape route for all that waste. Third, depending on which part of the cycle is broken, they can supplement with certain amino acids to help push the faulty line along.
And finally, for the most severe cases, a liver transplant can provide a complete and total cure by installing a brand new, fully working detox system.
And that last option, it is an absolute game changer. For children with severe UCDs who get a liver transplant, the 5-year survival rate is now over 90%. Think about that. This procedure can offer a definitive cure, letting them live a normal life without that constant threat of ammonia buildup. It's a truly life-changing alternative. So if there's one thing you take away from all this, it's this simple, vital flow. Toxic ammonia goes in, safe urea comes out. It's a process happening in your liver right now, tirelessly protecting your brain and keeping you alive. It really is one of your body's most essential detox superheroes. Makes you wonder, what other hidden processes are keeping you going that you don't even know about?